Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. I got home earlier than usual that afternoon. The sky was still bright, the kind of light that made the driveway look peaceful, even when nothing was right. Pamela's car sat in its spot, engine off, windows up. She wasn't on her phone like usual. She was already inside. I stepped into the dining room and saw her sitting at the table, back straight, hands folded. In front of her, centered like it had been measured, rested a thick manila envelope. She looked up at me and smiled. Not warm, not nervous, just confident. "You're home early," she said. "Traffic was light," I replied, setting my keys down. "What's that?" She slid the envelope toward me without touching it again. "Divorce papers. I already signed my side." The room didn't change, but something inside it did. I didn't pick it up right away. "This is a joke?" "No," she said, still smiling. "This is clarity." I opened the flap and skimmed the first page. Her signature sat at the bottom, neat and deliberate. "You brought legal documents into this house without a conversation?" I asked. She leaned back in the chair. "We've had conversations for years, Ronald. You just never adjusted." "To what?" "To growth," she said. "To understanding me. To supporting what I need now." "And what do you need now?" She paused, enjoying the moment. "There's someone at work. His name is Elliot Newman. He's a friend. He understands things you don't anymore. He's going to be part of my life." I closed the folder slowly. "And you want him to be part of our marriage too?" "I want honesty instead of denial," she replied. "So here is the deal. Accept my male friend in our life and stay married, or sign the papers and walk away." Her tone never changed. Calm, controlled, almost excited. I placed the envelope back on the table. "I'm not signing anything tonight," I said, "and I'm not sharing a marriage with another man." Her smile faded for half a second before returning. "You'll think about it." "I already am," I replied. I turned toward the hallway. "Where are you going?" she asked. "To the guest room," I said. "You just changed the rules. I'm adjusting." Behind me, the chair scraped slightly across the floor. I didn't look back. The first move had been made. Morning came without conversation. Pamela walked through the kitchen like a traveler passing through a station, coffee in one hand, keys in the other. No apology, no curiosity. She moved with strange relief, as if a heavy door had finally closed behind her. "I'll be late tonight," she said. "Elliot invited me to a gallery opening." "I don't plan evenings around you anymore," I answered. "Do whatever fits your schedule." Her eyebrow lifted. "You're taking this well." "I'm taking this accurately." She left without another word. That day, I didn't go to work first. I visited a small bank on Market Street. I opened an account in my name only, moved what belonged to me, and closed my access to anything shared. No drama, just numbers moving from one place to another. After that, I called a lawyer named Samuel Brooks. He didn't ask for emotions, only facts. "You received signed documents?" he asked. "Yes." "And she admitted another man is involved?" "Yes." "Then your position is clear," he said. "The house is in your name, purchased before marriage. That is protected." "Good," I replied. "I want clean separation." In the afternoon, Pamela sent a message. "You don't need to punish me financially." Structure isn't punishment. It's order. There was no reply. When night fell, I sat in the guest room with a lamp beside the bed and a notepad in my hands. I wrote 3 lines, nothing more. No shared money, no shared nights, no discussions without witnesses or legal presence. Down the hall, laughter echoed. Her voice, a second voice, deeper, confident. "Elliot." I stood near the door and listened as they passed through the living area. She didn't invite him to the bedroom. Instead, they stepped out onto the porch. The front door closed again. Quiet returned. A few minutes later, Pamela walked into the hall, saw me, and smirked. "He likes your house," she said. "He won't be keeping it," I replied. "You really think you're in control here?" "I think you miscalculated who you brought papers to." Her smile faded, replaced by something quick, uncertain. "That confidence you're wearing," I added. "You should enjoy it while it lasts." Elliot arrived 2 evenings later, not by surprise, but by announcement. Pamela sent a single line before he stepped inside. "Elliot is stopping by. Don't make this weird." I stayed in the living area, seated, hands steady. When the door opened, he walked in looking like a man trying to look calm. Careful posture, eyes sharp, measuring. "Ronald," he said, extending a hand. I didn't stand. I didn't take it. "Elliot Newman," Pamela added, as if introducing a guest at a party. She watched for reaction, wanted tension, wanted jealousy. "All this for a handshake?" I asked. His arm fell. "Pamela said you were a reasonable person. She said a lot before she smiled and handed me divorce papers." Pamela crossed her arms. "You're twisting this." "I'm clarifying it," I answered. Silence filled the room. Elliot shifted once, searching for somewhere to stand that felt neutral. There wasn't one. "I respect boundaries," he said. "I'm not trying to replace anyone." "That job isn't open," I replied, "and this space isn't shared." Pamela stepped closer to him. "He doesn't own the world, Elliot." "No," I said, still seated. "He doesn't own my marriage either." A long pause stretched between them. "So, what is this?" I asked her. "A test? A demonstration? Or just poor planning?" "It's my life," she said, "and I choose who stands in it." "Then choose a different place," I replied, "because this one isn't zoned for three." Elliot glanced at her. Confidence drained, replaced by hesitation. "Maybe I should go," he offered. Pamela tightened her jaw. "You don't have to leave." "Yes, he does," I answered. "And you'll start arranging your exit soon, too." "Over a friend?" she snapped. "Over disrespect," I corrected. He turned toward the door without another word. After it closed, Pamela laughed once, cold and sharp. "You think you can scare him away?" "I think he just realized the position is unpaid," I said. Her expression shifted, unsure for the first time. "This isn't going how you expected," I added quietly. And she knew it. The house settled into silence after Elliot left, but it wasn't the peaceful kind. Pamela stayed in the doorway for a moment, eyes focused on the spot where he had been standing. The confidence she had worn like a jacket earlier now hung loose. She walked to the counter, poured herself water, then turned toward me. "You embarrassed me," she said. "You could have handled that differently." "I handled it directly," I replied. "That seems to upset you more." "You humiliated him." "He walked into another man's marriage with a smile. He should be built for disappointment." She placed the glass down too hard. "This is why I needed space from you. Everything is about control, rules, territory." "Everything is about clarity," I answered. "You brought legal papers into this house like a victory speech. I'm simply reading the fine print." Her gaze sharpened. "You don't talk like this. Not to me." "You changed the conversation." She exhaled, slow and uneven. "I thought you would panic. I thought you would beg me to stay. You always hate being alone." "I don't hate being alone," I said. "I hate sharing space with someone who has already moved out in her head." For the first time, her voice dropped. "You don't get to rewrite the story." "I'm not rewriting anything. I'm ending my chapter quietly." She moved closer, trying a softer angle. "You're acting out of anger, Ronald. This is temporary. People go through cycles." "You already signed yours," I replied. "No one told you to prepare legal forms," she said. "I was trying to wake you up, not end things." "You didn't wake me up," I said. "You freed me from pretending." Her fingers curled against the edge of the counter. "So what? You're just going to let this collapse without a fight?" "I'm choosing the ending you placed in front of me." A long moment passed. She swallowed. "You really think I would replace you with him?" she asked, almost quiet now. "I think you tried," I said. "And I think you're realizing he doesn't want the weight that comes with that choice." Her eyes narrowed, then softened, like she wasn't sure which version of herself to be. "And now what happens?" she asked. "Now," I replied, standing, "you feel the first real consequence of your own confidence." That was the moment her power finally cracked. Pamela didn't leave that night. She drifted through the house, restless, like someone who had just realized the map she followed was fake. She slept late the next morning, missing her normal routine. I left early and headed straight to Samuel Brooks's office with the signed envelope resting on the seat beside me. He flipped through the documents and nodded once. "She filed first, but that does not mean she controls direction. We file our response today." "Do it," I said. On the way out, I sat in my truck and made a second decision. I opened the file on my phone containing screenshots, timestamps, parking charges, and the message preview from Elliot that still sat burned into my memory. I sent one clean email to her company's ethics department. No anger, no commentary, just facts and attachments. That afternoon, Pamela called 3 times. I didn't answer. By evening, she stood in the living room, phone pressed to her ear, voice rising with panic. "They pulled me into a meeting," she said as soon as the call ended. "Human resources, compliance, security. Do you know anything about this?" "I can guess," I replied. "You went after my job?" she demanded. "I sent truth to the place that pays for it," I said calmly. "Nothing more." Her face drained. "You said you wouldn't ruin me." "I said I wouldn't share you. That's different." "That man meant nothing to me," she snapped. "He meant enough for you to gamble everything," I replied. She paced fast now. "They placed me on suspension pending investigation. Elliot isn't answering. He avoided me all day. Sounds like he respected boundaries after all." Her eyes filled with fury, then fear. "If I lose this position, I'm finished." "You walked yourself to the edge," I said. "You asked me to accept another man in our marriage. I declined the offer and returned the paperwork." "You're enjoying this," she whispered. "I'm documenting it," I corrected. Silence filled the space that once belonged to partnership. Now it belonged to consequences. The suspension turned into an investigation within days. Pamela stopped pretending everything was under control. Her phone never stopped buzzing. When she wasn't arguing with someone from work, she was pacing the house, talking in half-finished thoughts, trying to build a plan that didn't exist. 3 nights later, she sat across from me at the same dining table where the envelope had first appeared. "You need to help me fix this," she said. "Call them. Tell them it was a misunderstanding." "I don't make false statements," I replied. "I was confused," she insisted. "Elliot pressured me. He misled me." "You signed papers with a smile," I said. "That wasn't confusion. That was confidence." The following week, paperwork moved fast. Samuel Brooks handled every detail with precision. The terms were simple and final. The house remained in my name, as it had been before the marriage. Pamela received a limited settlement for personal contributions. No spousal support was granted due to breach of contract. Joint accounts were dissolved immediately. Each of us walked away with only what was legally ours. She sat in front of the judge, hands folded the way they had been the first day. Except now, there was no smile. "You can withdraw the request if both parties agree," the judge said. Pamela turned, hope flickering in her eyes. I didn't move. "I agree with the filing," I stated. Her shoulders dropped. The final stamp hit the paper with a quiet thud that echoed louder than any argument we ever had. Outside the courthouse, she walked beside me for a few steps. "You could have chosen forgiveness," she said. "I chose accuracy," I replied. She nodded. Once. Small. Defeated. "I really thought you'd break," she added. "I really thought you knew me," I answered. She didn't follow me to the car. Inside, I sat for a moment, hands on the steering wheel, the silence clean, deliberate. No anger, no relief, just closure written in black ink and sealed with her own signature. Pamela's life unraveled faster than she expected. 2 days after the court date, her company terminated her position for breach of conduct and falsified records. The title she loved disappeared in one email. The office access badge that once opened doors was deactivated before noon. Her name vanished from the company directory by evening. She moved out of the house within a week. Not with strength, not with dignity. She packed into her sister's spare room across town, where the walls didn't match her taste, and the silence felt heavier than any argument we ever had. Her car went up for sale. The payments were too much without income. Her social media shifted into vague quotes about betrayal, healing, and finding strength again. Elliot disappeared completely. No apology, no explanation, no loyalty. That was the silent punch she never planned for. She tried to reach me several times after that. The tone changed each time. First, anger. "You destroyed everything." Then confusion. "How did this happen so fast?" Then regret. "I shouldn't have smiled that day." I never answered. The house, on the other hand, came back to life. I painted over the walls she had chosen in shades that never felt like mine. I fixed the loose hinges, replaced the broken screen, cleaned out the garage she had filled with things that never meant anything to me. Each small repair felt like cutting a thread that still tried to pull backward. James came by often. carrying nothing but silence and a spare wrench. My neighbor, Carlos Martinez, leaned over the fence one evening and said, "The place feels lighter without the tension." I didn't argue. Work shifted in my favor. A new project landed on my desk. Responsibility grew. So did respect from the team. And then, quietly, a woman named Danielle Thompson stepped into my days. She worked with a contractor we partnered with. She didn't flirt. She didn't rush. She simply spoke with clarity and waited for real answers. When I told her I didn't live in gray areas, she only smiled and said, "Good. I live in daylight." There were no secrets with her. No envelopes. No smiles with hidden meanings. Just deliberate movement forward. Pamela lost her image, her comfort, her illusion of power. I gained something quieter. Stability. Months later, I sat at the same dining table where Pamela had once placed the envelope. I let my hand drift over it, not in pain, but in recognition. Time had turned that moment into a reminder instead of a wound. The phone buzzed once. A message from Pamela. If I could go back, I would change everything. I stared at the screen for a long second before typing my reply. We don't go back. We choose. I set the device aside and stood, opening the curtains wide. Now it belonged to no drama, no schemes, no performances. Danielle walked in from the kitchen holding 2 cups of coffee. "You okay?" she asked. "I am," I said. She set one beside me without question. No pressure, no hidden demands, nothing but presence. "I like this place," she added, looking around. "Feels honest." "It is now," I replied. Across town, Pamela's world had quieted into something smaller than she had ever imagined for herself. No more high-rise meetings, no more designer lunches, no more illusion of importance built on borrowed attention. Her sister's apartment became her permanent address. Part-time work at a small boutique replaced boardrooms. The smile she once wore so easily no longer had an audience. And Elliot? He'd transferred to another state, avoiding the fallout he helped ignite. People like him never stayed long enough to face consequences. They slipped away, leaving others to carry the weight. I didn't carry anything that day except peace. As the months passed, the house filled with small, human sounds again. Quiet laughter at night. No secrets hiding under lampshades. Sometimes people asked what the breaking point had been. The public confrontation? The emails? The court hearing? I always answered the same. It was the smile when she handed me the papers. That was the moment she thought she had control. That was the second her power ended. Because while she believed I would fight to keep her, I finally realized I didn't need to fight at all. I just needed to step away from the table. On Sunday mornings, Danielle and I sat on the porch with coffee, watching light move across the neighborhood. No tension, no ultimatums, no envelopes. Only truth. And quiet is powerful when it's deserved. That smile she gave me, it set me free. Thank you for watching.